wasn't planning on doing this for a while, but we rarely have any sun out here, so I'm gonna go ahead and start to peel the vinyl. I mentioned in the last video, it's cracked and it looks ugly. Got a panel and almost the passenger side door done. I'm gonna take a break. It's really hot out here, and I'm gonna continue recording once I get the door done. Alright guys, welcome back to the video. As you guys can see, I have it all unwrapped. And no, I didn't go to a professional, and I don't even want to tell you guys how long it took me, but let's just say it was more than a week, less than 3 weeks. So yeah, it was just really painful to remove. The fenders and the doors and stuff like that were super easy just because the vinyl wrap still had some elasticity to it so I can pull it off. But spots like the hood and, my God, this right here was a pain, as well as the trunk. It's a little dirty, but just because it started raining. But yeah, like I said, it took me so long to remove it. I'm just glad it's all done now. And as you can see, the paint, even though it's a 2008, is still pretty good. I decided to leave this right here just because it looked kind of cool and this wasn't dried out or anything like that. So gave it a nice two-tone look to it. And I also decided to keep the wrap on the side skirts as well as the door handles. Overall, like I said, it's not bad. The doors, the fenders, even the front bumper still has some good shine to it. I do see a couple spots where the shine is fading a little bit, such as the hood. You can tell there's a difference between the shine and the roof as well. And in case anyone was wondering, I ordered a plastic razor blade. Literally the only way I can get the wrap off was to scrape, wipe, until all of it was done. And then I hit it with some adhesive remover, and then I waxed and polished it. So hopefully I didn't do too much damage. I'd like to get it professionally waxed and buff at some point, but for now, I just want to enjoy the car as it is. And so the reason I wanted to make this video is because I wanted to do a walk around or a mod overview. So far, throughout the limited number of days that I've owned it, I've really gotten the chance to look into what kind of mods it has, and so I wanted to go over that today. So first things first, let's start with the exterior. Everything else is pretty much stock aside from the Fortune Auto coilovers that this thing has. So I'm glad that it came with the coilovers. These are a nice set of coilovers and they're honestly pretty smooth. I'm not sure what brand this is, but it has some slotted and drilled rotors on the front as well as the rear. So that's kind of cool. So I haven't really looked into what kind of transmission mods it has, but it has the same transmission whine as my WRX does. And I swapped out the mount on that car for the group end transmission mount, so I wouldn't be surprised if this had some transmission supporting mods as well. And as far as the inside, pretty much stock. I do love the leather seats. So yeah, nothing much to see on the inside, pretty much stock, and everything else is in decent condition. And if I forgot to mention, this screen right here is a backup camera. Probably the only gripe that I have about the car is that thing, because it wobbles when I drive. But other than that, solid car. And I'm pretty happy with it so far. So we've covered the outside and a little bit of the interior. Let's go ahead and go into the fun stuff, the engine bay. So far from what you can see is it still has the factory intercooler. There is a Cobb intake and an aftermarket inlet right here. Cobb heat shield covering the turbo. There was an alternator cover, but I kind of took that off, and I'll explain why in another video. And I do see an aftermarket pulley right there from Perrin. And also it does have a Cobb downpipe. You know, I'm so used to saying J pipes, but these EJ motors have downpipes. So yeah, there is a Cobb downpipe. And as far as the catback goes, so it is a turbo back. This is an SPT catback and it's dual, as you guys can see. or dual exit single pipe. So this is my first car with the EJ motor, and I finally understand what people are saying about the sound. It is addicting and it sounds amazing. Oh, and also it has the damper settings for the Fortunato coilovers, which is kind of cool. And so like I mentioned, this is the EJ25 motor, which means it is the same motor as the older WRXs. With that in mind, I'm aware of all the potential issues this thing might have. I've been kind of monitoring it via the access port to see if anything weird pops up or anything like that. But so far so good. Everything seems to be solid, and I'm overall pretty happy with it. So stock, these engines are putting out 243 horsepower and 241 foot-pounds of torque. But I know for a fact that this car was tuned at Surgeline here in Portland, and it is pushing out around 17 pounds of boost, 17 to 18. And I did reach out to them. I asked if I can get a dyno sheet just to see how much power it's pushing out, but for some reason they didn't have it available. So based on my research and based on what mods this thing has, this is equivalent to the quote-unquote stage 2 plus cob package. I don't like using stages just because they can get iffy, and I don't want to get into all that. So yeah, this is equivalent to the stage 2 plus package with the intake, downpipe, exhaust, etc. And power levels on those, based on my research, is around 270 to 280 wheel horsepower on 92 and around 290 foot-pounds of torque. It's not too far off from my WRX. So my WRX is putting out 303 wheel horsepower and 327 foot-pounds of torque. And based on the butt dyno, this is not that much slower. And so it has just enough power to get up and go, but I don't want to push it too hard just because it is an older motor. Like I said, I just bought it as a daily driver, and I wanted to teach the fiance how to drive a manual. So I did talk to the guys at Superior Subi and Import, also known as SSI. If you're from the Portland, Milwaukee area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're pretty well known for tuning Subarus for various years. And what I was told, so I talked to them about retuning the car on the dyno, just so I can get more accurate readings, and I want to know exactly what this car has and what it's capable of. Be on the lookout for that, for a retune video. I'll keep you guys updated as much as I can. But for now, like I mentioned, I just want to enjoy the car. But yeah, I'm happy with the purchase. As far as like future plans, I don't really plan to tune it much. I just want to get it retuned, probably get some new wheels to replace these stock 18s, and then keep it as is. But yeah, like I mentioned, this is my first Subaru with an EJ motor. So if any of my subscribers who are following me for my 2018 WRX have had Subaru Legacies, the GT spec to be specific, let me know in the comments below what I should be looking out for, any tips and tricks and stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. So far, I'm learning a lot about the Subaru Legacy market, and I'm really glad that there's a lot of aftermarket support for these cars, and there's a lot of aftermarket parts that I can put on it if I choose to. And in case you guys haven't seen the last vlog, the reason why I got this car was, one, so I could teach the fiance how to drive the manual, and the second thing is I wanted to do a lot more track days with the WRX, and if something were to happen to that car, then I wanted to have a backup car. And I also mentioned in the last video that I've been prepping this car a lot, and I actually ended up buying another set of Pilot Sport 4S's, the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. I currently run these on the WRX, but I wanted another set for backup. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and close out the video here. If you guys have absolutely any questions about either Subaru, please let me know in the comments below. So I hope you guys enjoyed the walk around / mod overview of the car. If you made it this far throughout the video, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.